Hello, and welcome again to another something chat show with Tom Jr. Jackson presents After the Movie Review. And this is number 4. And this is part of our scary October edition of the After the Movie Reviews. And today's movie we will be discussing is the 1931 classic, Frankenstein. But first, have you visited the Post Geek Singularity YouTube channel? Excuse me. You should. They have a plethora of shows to check out. They have shows such as Midnight Musings, Midnight Metal, Observations with your host, the Captain, Robert Meyer Burnett, Let's Get Physical Media, Whining About Movies, and Fully Articulated if you're into 1/6 scale figures. But also, they got a brand new show on the channel hosted by the lovely, the talented, you know her, you love her, RM. And she is not only my friend, but I am her collaborator on her channel as well. But we will get to that in a second, because I want to tell you about the Ladies of the PGS. The Ladies of the PGS is a show where they embrace masculinity. They talk about sci-fi, horror, sex, DC, Marvel, everything in between. And it's a great show. You should check it out. And that's every Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time. So 6 p.m. on the East Coast, 3 p.m. on the West. And not only is she great with this, as I said before, she's got her own channel, and that's called Positive Fandom, where RM Review does unboxings. She's got a great video for an unboxing of a Razor Crest ship from The Mandalorian that is unbelievable, and it's crazy, and it's one of the coolest things that you will see if you check it out. Not only that, but she also has reviews, movie reviews, television show reviews, and television reviews, out of the theater reviews, and trailer reactions. Plus, she's got her own show also on Sunday mornings as well, and it's called Sunday Morning. No, wait, hold on. Sunday Brunch Live, and she's got a co-host, Russ Whitfield. The show starts at 10:30 a.m. on the East Coast and 7:30 a.m. on the West. So that's 7:30 that's 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 a.m. Pacific time, where they parlay about all the pop culture and the news that's fit to print or fit to talk about. So check that out. And also, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for those channels and mine as well. And now we go on to our main feature topic, the 1931 film Frankenstein. And this is After the Movie Review, episode 4 of our spooky October edition. And also, before I begin, I have some playlists here on the channel. Check them out. Got a lot of movie reviews. I'm doing some book reviews. Pretty soon we're going to do some interviews as well. You want to stay tuned for that, because we got some good ones down the pipeline so far. In the times we live in, we have a cornucopia, I would say, of horror films to choose from to watch, from Nope to A Nightmare on Elm Street to Evil Dead to Smile to Pearl to X. a cornucopia of films, horror films. But back in 1931, there were not a lot of horror films to watch. That is until Universal decided to throw their hat into the ring with an adaptation of Mary Shelley's book, Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. Now, if you don't know the story of Frankenstein, it goes like this. It's an age-old story about Dr. Frankenstein who dares to tamper with the fabric of the age-old question of life and death. And by attempting to play God and create life out of body parts of dead people and stitch them together. Now remember, back in the 30s, they didn't have many movies like this. As a matter of fact, in 1931, the term horror as a movie and a genre was not known yet. It wasn't until 1931 that it actually was coined into the genre. Before we got horror movies, there were a lot of books and they would call Gothic, I believe. Now, this back in the 30s, this film was believed to scare audiences so much that the studio anticipated this, that they would scare audiences. And so what they did is they filmed a prologue at the beginning and had Edward Van Sloan, who played Van Helsing in the movie Dracula, come out and warn the audience of what is to follow. And it's sort of like he comes out on the stage, tells you what it's about, and then the movie begins. And it's sort of reminiscent of the Ten Commandments, where Cecil B. DeMille comes out and introduces the film on the stage through the curtains and whatnot. But back then, the movie Frankenstein, which we now know starred Boris Karloff as the monster, back then the monster was billed as ? So no one would know who played the monster. I honestly find it amazing that this film has lasted the full 90-something years, about 90-something years that it's been in existence. Or 80 years, whichever comes first. Yeah, 80 or 90 years that it's been in existence. Now, this movie also stars an actor named Colin Clive, who has been described by many people that have worked with him as one of the sweetest men that ever worked in Hollywood, and was very nice. And it was directed by James Whale. And just like with the Wolfman, the prosthetics for Frankenstein was applied to and created by Jack Pierce. And it took 4 hours to apply the monster makeup. And also the suit itself, the costume, was a full 48 pounds. Now think about that. You're wearing makeup, you're wearing this big costume, big shoes, and it's 48 pounds, but you're doing it in the middle of summer. So try thinking about that nowadays as someone doing something like that. That'd be impossible. You would have to have some sort of apparatus funneling in cold water so they don't pass out. This film was added to the Library of Congress in 1991. So it is one of those films that is protected and cared for, and and historic as well. Um, Frankenstein is again is one of the first horror films to be out there and to be created, to be created. Yeah, to be created and put out there at the time. And think about it now. This is like the 1930s. No one's ever seen a Frankenstein like that, or even seen the makeup appliances like that. And it probably scared people back then. Just like the Wolfman probably scared people back then as well. And you hear a lot of older people saying when they were younger, I remember seeing the Wolfman or Frankenstein or Dracula and how it scared me and this and that. And it was one of those films where you're like, oh, okay, this is how it goes. This is what it is. But it is a fantastic film. It is one of those films that if you are a film and imagination connoisseur, if you are someone who appreciates film, you should watch it. It's a beautiful film. It's the story of a man who creates this being who just who just who who scare who they think, oh, we can train it, we can teach it to be civilized, and it just goes terribly wrong. And it shows what happens when you fool around with nature and you play God and you create something like this. Could this happen? No. No, I don't see someone actually doing this for real. I mean, maybe they could. I don't know, but in Mary Shelley's book, it never says how the monster is recreated, and the idea of the laboratory itself using electricity, it's not in the book. It was created for the film. And not only that, but if you watch the movie Young Frankenstein and you notice the laboratory where young Franken, the monster is created, all the electricity, all the electronics and stuff in that um, laboratory are from the original 1931 Frankenstein. The man who created it had all the stuff in his garage, and they used it for Young Frankenstein, which is amazing. And it is a really, really good film. And as I said before, it blows my mind that films like this scared audiences back then. And it makes me wonder how would the films today, what would that do? Would that cause that? Well, I think I'm answering my own question, but I think it would probably cause such a controversy. And I'm sure they would probably scare audiences from the 30s and the 40s. Like no one would be expecting to see the kind of horror we do today. And as far forward as we go with it, you know, it's it's an interesting genre. I mean, a lot of people go, I don't like to be scared, but yet they'll go on a roller coaster and get scared. So I think some people do like being scared, they just don't like to admit it. And this is a fantastic film. And yeah, this one does take place in Germany, I believe. And it's fantastic. The sets, the characters, and you do become attached to the monster in some way. You feel bad for him. When there's a scene where Igor or Igor, however you want to pronounce it, um, is harassing Frankenstein. I should say the monster. At no point has the monster ever been referred to as Frankenstein. Frankenstein was the doctor, the man who created him. He's Frankenstein's monster. And I know I sound like a man explaining it to you, but that's how it is, you know. And throughout the years, Frankenstein has been remade in different ways. There's been the man with two heads, or the man with two brains, or young Frankenstein. And excuse me now. And even Frankenstein has been remade a few times as well. Kenneth Branagh, back in the 90s, I want to say, late or early 90s, did a version of Frankenstein called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and also had Robert De Niro as the monster. So this is a movie itself. The story of Frankenstein will always be in the zeitgeist of horror, because whenever you see a movie and someone creates a creature and brings it back from the dead, anything that's about something being brought back from the dead automatically goes back to Frankenstein. No matter how you're going to put it, it was done. It is a direct lineage to Frankenstein. And a lot of younger people today haven't experienced this movie. It spawned a few sequels and whatnot, but I love this film. I generally adore it because it is a product of its time, but it's a timeless classic. And it makes me wonder what 100 years from now, what people will think of this movie. Because in the next, let's see, 1931, so 2031 will be 100 years. So 2131 will be 200 years. So it makes me wonder how in 2131, Frankenstein will be regarded, how this film will turn out. Probably be long gone by then, but it makes me wonder how films like this will stand the test of time. Will they stand the test of time, or will people just let it glow away into the night? The classics, these universal horror movies. And they deserve to be watched. They deserve to be appreciated as well. So I want to thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the notification bell. Check out the descriptions down in the description box for the links to the channels that I mentioned before. And join us again for another After the Movie Review, Spooky October edition. And in the meantime, we will also be peppering in some regular ones on that playlist as well. So check it out. Check out these films. Let me know what film got you, what classic black and white film got you into becoming a cinephile, to becoming a lover of films, becoming an imagination connoisseur, if you will. Because I'm interested. So I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope you come back again real soon. And as always, please remember, we are all goof people. Thank you and have a pleasant tomorrow. Bye-bye.